Something unusual is happening in America right now.
For the first time in years, millions of workers are looking at the job market not with hope, but with hesitation. The headlines say one thing, the data suggests another, and the lived reality feels like a completely different story. It is as if the economy is speaking two languages at once, and most people only understand the uncomfortable one.
The government reports try to paint a familiar picture: a stable unemployment rate, a resilient economy, and a soft landing.
But beneath that calm exterior, the ground is shifting.
Layoffs have climbed to their highest level since the pandemic. White-collar workers, once confident, once insulated, are losing jobs faster than at any point in the last decade.
Hourly workers face fewer shifts, stricter schedules, and brutal competition for roles that used to hire on the spot.
We are witnessing a silent crisis in the American labor force.
This isn't just about a bad quarter, it is a structural collapse of the career paths that built the middle class. From the office parks of Silicon Valley to the factory floors of the Rust Belt, the rules of employment are being rewritten. The safe jobs are vanishing.
The entry-level roles are being automated. And the promise that hard work guarantees stability is evaporating.
By the end of this countdown, you will understand exactly which sectors are in real danger, why the pressure keeps building, and how 2026 became the year of the great job market reset.
We are counting down the 10 industries facing a total collapse in hiring. Stay with us, because if you work in one of these fields, you need to prepare now. Number 10, traditional retail sales. For decades, retail was the great entry point of the American economy.
It was the first job for a teenager, the flexible shift for a student, and a lifelong career for millions of managers and floor staff. Walking into a department store or a clothing shop used to mean being greeted by a team of people ready to help.
It was a sector built on human connection, product knowledge, and the bustle of commerce.
But in 2026, that bustle has turned into a ghost town.
The retail sector is facing an absolute meltdown.
We are seeing a massive wave of store closures from giants like Macy's, Big Lots, and Walgreens, which naturally erases thousands of jobs instantly.
But the collapse goes deeper than just bankruptcy. Even in profitable stores, the workforce is being hollowed out. Retailers are trimming labor costs with ruthless efficiency. The self-checkout revolution was just the beginning.
Now, companies are using AI for inventory management, automated logistics for stocking, and skeleton crews to manage massive floor plans. The job of the sales associate is becoming extinct. The reason is simple: the math no longer works for the old model. Rising minimum wages, surging health insurance costs for employees, and the dominance of e-commerce have made human staff a luxury that corporations are cutting first. Shoppers who walk into stores today notice the difference immediately: aisles are messy, help is impossible to find, and the few remaining employees look exhausted. As one retail manager who recently lost her job of 15 years put it, "We used to be a team. Now, I was doing the job of 3 people for the same pay, until they decided a kiosk could do it cheaper." The retail job wasn't just a paycheck, it was a safety net for the economy. As that net rips apart, millions of workers are falling through.
Number 9, logistics and warehousing. During the pandemic, logistics was the hero of the economy. Warehouse workers and truck drivers were essential. Companies couldn't hire fast enough. Bonuses were handed out like candy, and wages skyrocketed.
If you had a commercial driver's license or a pair of work boots, you had a job instantly.
It felt like a golden age for the supply chain. But the hangover has arrived, and it is brutal.
In 2026, the logistics industry is facing a sharp, painful correction. Freight volumes have remained soft for months, and the boom times have turned into a bust. Major logistics companies are cutting shifts, freezing hiring, and in some cases, shutting down entire distribution centers.
The collapse is driven by a shift in consumer behavior and a rush toward efficiency.
Americans are buying fewer goods and more services, meaning fewer boxes need to be moved.
But the bigger threat is automation.
Warehouses that once employed hundreds of pickers and packers are now transitioning to robotic systems that work 24/7 without breaks, benefits, or complaints.
The gigification of delivery is also destroying stable jobs.
Instead of full-time drivers with benefits, companies are relying on independent contractors and flex drivers who earn less and have zero security. The path to a middle-class life through trucking or warehousing is narrowing fast. A warehouse shift supervisor in Ohio shared the new reality. 3 years ago, we were turning away work. Now, the depot is quiet.
The robots are humming, but the break room is empty.
The sector that carried America through a crisis is now discarding the workers who made it happen.
Number 8, entry-level technology. For the last 20 years, the advice to every young person was the same: learn to code.
The tech industry was the promised land. High salaries, incredible perks, and job security that seemed unshakable. If you had a computer science degree or even a bootcamp certificate, you were guaranteed a ticket to the upper middle class.
In 2026, that ticket has expired. The entry-level tech market is experiencing a silent apocalypse. The headlines might show tech stocks soaring, but the hiring for junior roles has flatlined.
We are seeing a phenomenon where tech firms are trimming white-collar roles while simultaneously investing billions in AI.
This is that AI displacement in real time.
Why hire a junior developer to write basic code, debug software, or run quality assurance tests when an AI model can do it in seconds for a fraction of a cent? The roles that used to be the training ground for future engineers, junior dev, QA analyst, support specialist, are vanishing. Layoffs in the tech sector have climbed to their highest levels since the dot-com bubble burst, but unlike previous crashes, these jobs aren't coming back when the market recovers.
They are being permanently deleted.
The competition is suffocating. We are seeing thousands of resumes flooding in for a single open position. A recent computer science graduate posted a viral receipt of his job search: "I have applied to 400 jobs in 6 months.
I have a degree. I have an internship. I have 0 offers."
It feels like the door has been slammed shut. The golden age of easy tech money is over, replaced by a ruthless efficiency that has no room for beginners.
Number 7, residential construction. Construction has always been the backbone of the American economy.
It's hard work, honest work, and it builds the physical wealth of the nation.
In 2021 and 2022, you couldn't find a contractor. Home builders had waiting lists a mile long. It was a frenzy of activity. But look at the job sites in 2026. The hammers are going quiet. The residential construction industry is facing a severe slowdown that borders on a collapse in many regions.
While there is still a housing shortage, the economics of building new homes have broken down. The culprit is the cost of money trap. Interest rates, while stabilized, remain high enough to crush affordability for buyers and crush profit margins for builders.
Financing a new development has become incredibly expensive.
At the same time, the cost of materials, lumber, concrete, copper, remains historically high.
Builders are pulling back. Permits for single-family homes are dropping in key markets.
Projects that were greenlit 2 years ago are being paused or canceled.
This means fewer jobs for framers, electricians, plumbers, and roofers. The boom has turned into a standstill. Validation comes from the job sites themselves.
A general contractor in Florida admitted, "My phone used to ring 10 times a day for new builds.
Now, I'm lucky if it rings once a week for a renovation." The big crews are sitting at home.
When construction stops, the ripple effect hits the entire economy, and right now, the foundation is cracking.
Number 6, American manufacturing.
For generations, Made in America wasn't just a slogan, it was the gold standard of employment.
A job at the local plant meant you were set for life.
It provided steady shifts, union benefits, and a paycheck that could support a family of 4 without a college degree. The factory whistle was the metronome of the American middle class, keeping time for millions of households.
But in 2026, the factory floor is going silent.
Manufacturing output has stumbled significantly, and the sector is shedding jobs after months of soft demand.
While politicians talk about bringing jobs back, the reality on the ground is a steady erosion. Manufacturers are reducing headcount, not expanding it. The collapse here is driven by a profit squeeze.
High interest rates have made it expensive for factories to borrow money for upgrades or materials. At the same time, consumer demand for physical goods has cooled off.
But the long-term killer is the quiet shift toward automation.
Factories are becoming smarter, but they are also becoming emptier. The roles that are disappearing: assembly line workers, quality inspectors, machine operators, are the ones that built the working class. A shift manager at an auto parts supplier described the mood: "We used to run 3 shifts, 7 days a week.
Now we are down to 1.
The machines are running, but the parking lot is half empty."
This isn't just a cycle, it's a structural downsizing.
The industrial jobs that anchored communities are fading, leaving behind a workforce that is overqualified for retail but undertrained for robotics.
Number 5, real estate and mortgage lending. Do you remember the housing boom of 2021? You couldn't walk down a street without seeing a sold sign.
Being a real estate agent or a mortgage broker felt like printing money. It was an industry of limitless optimism, where open houses had lines around the block and bidding wars were the norm. In 2026, that party is officially over.
The real estate industry is frozen in a block of ice.
Mortgage rates, having climbed from historic lows to punishing highs, have slammed the door on transaction volume.
The market isn't just cooling; for the professionals who rely on commissions, it has collapsed. The problem is inventory and affordability. Homeowners with low rates aren't selling, and buyers can't afford to borrow. This lock-in effect means there are simply fewer houses to sell.
For the army of real estate agents who entered the field during the boom, there are now too many sharks fighting for too few fish.
Mortgage lenders are faring even worse. With refinancing activity dead in purchase applications near multi-decade lows, loan officers are being laid off in droves. Entire branches of mortgage companies are shutting down.
A real estate agent in Arizona shared her reality: "I haven't closed a deal in 4 months.
My phone used to ring all day. Now, the silence is deafening.
I'm looking for a job at a grocery store just to pay the bills."
The industry that sells the American dream is currently unable to afford it. Number 4, fast food and hospitality. Fast food was once the ultimate safety net job.
It was the teenage rite of passage, the flexible gig for students, and the always hiring option for anyone who needed cash fast. The model was simple: cheap food, high volume, and lots of staff to keep the line moving. But in 2026, the help wanted signs are disappearing. The fast food industry is undergoing a radical transformation that is eliminating human labor at a terrifying pace. Major chains like McDonald's and Burger King are struggling with traffic declines, especially from lower-income customers who can no longer afford the menu prices.
To survive, these chains are replacing people with technology. Walk into a modernized fast food restaurant today, and what do you see? Rows of digital kiosks, AI-powered drive-thrus, and automated fry cooks. The cashier is gone. The person taking your order is a voice bot. The entry-level job is being deleted by software. Franchise owners, squeezed by rising wages and ingredients, are cutting shifts to the bone. They are prioritizing efficiency over service. The result is a dining experience that feels automated, rushed, and disconnected. A former shift leader at a burger chain explained the shift: "They brought in the kiosks and cut 3 people from the lunch rush. It's not that they can't hire, it's that they don't want to." The job that launched 1 million careers is becoming a job for machines. Number 3, corporate administration. For decades, the office job was the definition of stability.
The administrative assistants, the data entry clerks, the middle managers, the HR coordinators, these were the roles that kept corporate America running. It wasn't glamorous, but it was safe. It came with a 401k, weekends off, and a clear path to retirement. But in 2026, the white-collar recession is in full swing.
This is the industry facing the most immediate and irreversible collapse. Companies are aggressively flattening their structures, realizing they can operate with far fewer layers of management. The driving force is AI and efficiency software. Tasks that used to take a human team a week, scheduling, report generation, basic accounting, email management, can now be done by software in minutes. We are seeing quiet cuts where roles are not backfilled when people leave. Departments are being merged, and the middlemen of the corporate world are being squeezed out.
This is a silent crisis because it happens behind closed doors.
There are no store closing signs for a layoff on Zoom. But the impact is massive.
White-collar workers, who felt insulated from economic storms, are losing jobs faster than at any point in the last decade. An HR specialist who was recently let go posted this warning: "I spent 10 years managing people.
Now, a dashboard does my job. The safe office job is a myth."
The paper pushers are being replaced by processors, and the corporate ladder is missing its middle rungs.
Number 2, transportation and trucking. If construction is the backbone of the economy, transportation is its circulatory system. For generations, trucking was the quintessential American job.
It offered freedom, the open road, and a salary that could rival white-collar professions, all without a college degree. During the supply chain crisis of 2021, truck drivers were treated like rock stars. Companies were offering massive signing bonuses, and freight rates were hitting record highs. It felt like the golden age of logistics. But in 2026, the wheels are falling off. The transportation sector is in the middle of a brutal freight recession. Freight volumes have remained stubbornly soft, indicating that the economy is moving fewer goods than it did just a few years ago. The demand that drove the hiring boom has evaporated, leaving the market flooded with too many trucks chasing too few loads.
The collapse is visible in the data. Transportation employment is flatlining or shrinking as carriers try to survive by cutting costs. But the pressure isn't just about volume, it's about the cost of operating.
Diesel prices, insurance premiums, and maintenance costs have surged, wiping out the profit margins for owner-operators and small fleets. We are seeing a wave of bankruptcies in the trucking world, from small family-owned operations to massive legacy carriers.
The yellow bankruptcy was just the beginning. Now, the stress is filtering down to every driver on the road.
A veteran truck driver with 20 years of experience summed it up: "I used to pick and choose my loads. Now, I'm sitting at a truck stop for 3 days waiting for a ping.
The rates they are offering barely cover the fuel. It's not a job anymore, it's a gamble." The industry that keeps America moving is currently parked, and the engine is sputtering. Number 1, government and public sector. And here we are at number 1.
The one industry that was supposed to be untouchable.
For decades, a government job was the ultimate safe haven. It didn't always pay the highest salary, but the trade-off was ironclad security. You got a pension, you got excellent benefits, and most importantly, you didn't get laid off. It was the bedrock of stability for millions of Americans. But in 2026, even this fortress is showing cracks. Government employment has shown unexpected fragility, a development that economists call rare and unsettling. We are witnessing federal payroll disruptions and budget battles that are filtering down to local agencies already stretched thin. The silent crisis here is fiscal. Cities and states are facing massive budget deficits as tax revenues slow down and costs rise. To balance the books, they are doing the unthinkable, freezing hiring, cutting services, and reducing headcount through attrition or layoffs. The era of the job for life in the public sector is ending. The fragility is amplified by political gridlock. Shutdowns and funding gaps are no longer threats, they are routine.
Federal workers are finding themselves used as pawns, missing paychecks while bills continue to pile up.
But the biggest threat is efficiency. Just like the private sector, government agencies are under pressure to do more with less.
They are adopting automation to handle paperwork, processing, and public inquiries. The army of clerks and administrators that once defined the public sector is being slowly replaced by digital systems.
A municipal worker in a major city described the shift: "We used to be the safe bet. Now, we have hiring freezes and budget cuts every quarter. People are leaving because the pension isn't worth the anxiety anymore."
When the safest sector in the economy starts to shake, you know the ground has truly shifted.
The collapse of hiring in these 10 industries isn't just a collection of bad news. It is a signal of a profound transformation in the American economy. We are moving from an economy of expansion to an economy of efficiency.
The jobs that are disappearing in retail, construction, tech, and even government are not just paused.
Many of them are gone forever, replaced by automation, AI, or a new model of gig-based labor.
The job market of 2026 is defined by a wage illusion. Paychecks might look higher on paper, but they buy less, and they come with far less security. The safe career is vanishing, replaced by a landscape where adaptability is the only currency that matters. The question now becomes personal: is your industry on this list? And if it is, what is your plan B? If this breakdown helped you see the reality behind the headlines, if it validated the anxiety you feel in your own career, hit that subscribe button for US Reality Check. We are committed to exposing the economic truths that affect your livelihood. The rules of work have changed. Don't play by the old ones. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next Reality Check.